Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Taylor Talks Trades. In this week's episode we are with Ed Fisher from Fisher Decorating. He's taken us on a heartfelt journey from him taking over the family run business from his dad sadly passing away. He took up the reins there and he's now telling us about his new exciting opportunity called Trade. Come and see what it's all about. Good morning Ed, welcome to Taylor Talks Trades.
How's it going, Jamie?
It's good to have you, mate. I'm going to start where I always start. How did you get into the trade?
Well, for starters, my dad had a painting and decorating company and I wasn't too clever at school, so I think I was kind of destined to be a painter and decorator. I actually wanted to be a plasterer, but after my school was finished, my dad pretty much came in and says, right, that's you signed up to the CITB, you're going to start work. I did go out and work with him a few times during the summers and all that sort of stuff, because he was the type of man who wasn't like, you're no lying about your bed, you're up and you're out and that's it. So that was it. Started my apprenticeship with my dad. I was no bad on the tools. I was out working with all the men and all that sort of stuff, really good. About my third year in my apprenticeship, my dad sadly got diagnosed with stage 4 bowel cancer. He was only 46. So it don't get really kind of sunk in at the time. I was just like, oh, my dad's not going anywhere, do you know what I mean? But then my dad started getting ill and all. I started kind of running the business. My dad had quite a decent business, so he did. He had at one point, he had about 15 men working for him, do you know what I mean? So it was quite good. And then we cut it down a bit because my dad wasn't fit. I was having to go out and start pricing jobs and all that sort of stuff, but I was clueless, do you know what I mean? I could barely paint and decorate, never mind go and price jobs and run a business and staff and everything else. So we cut it right down to like the kind of core team. My dad sadly passed away, and you know, I didn't really have a choice. My apprenticeship was even finished, there it was, when my dad died. So my accountant, we were really close to our accountant, and I said, what are we going to do? Because I'm actually, you can't be self-employed and do your apprenticeship, do you know what I mean? So I was in charge of the business, and we ended up, she done accounts for another company, Edd Decorating. I think they were maybe up this neck of the woods, but they'd done a lot of contracting work and all that stuff. And she spoke to them and said, look, they had apprentices through CITB, and said, there's any way you could put Ed through the CITB just for this last 6 months so he can go and do his trade test and all that and get his tickets. So we'd done that and it was all hunky-dory. I managed to get it. A massive thank you to them and all that for letting me get that. Good. And then I just started to take the business on, but to be honest, I was hopeless. Do you know what I mean? I was out working for wages, wasn't making a profit. It was just a sham.
How were you meant to know though?
I didn't know. I didn't know any of that sort of stuff. And I think it's good what you're doing about mentoring guys. And now you've got YouTube, you've got hundreds of different, you've got all social medias that can teach you wee bits and bobs, stuff you, when somebody went like to me, oh, you're a limited business, I'm like, what's a limited business mean, do you know what I mean? I'm like, is that short for other stuff and all that? And
it's difficult, isn't it? And then people ask you about like a profit and loss, and they're talking about turnover, gross profit and net profit, and you're going, oh, I don't know, I just know how to paint walls.
That's it, and for years and years, I used to think the more work I'd done, the more money I would make, but it doesn't work like that. I used to run myself into the gutter, working 7 days a week, late nights, everything. It was just like a shambles. But as I got older, I started to learn and I started picking up things, do you know what I mean?
What age were you at that point?
I was only 19, mate.
Right.
19, aye.
Well, 19
aye.
Apprentice painter and decorator, and your dad passed away.
My dad passed away in the May, I turned 20 in the June. And then my missus told me she was pregnant as well, just at the same time, still living with my mum, do you know what I mean? So I was trying to support my mum, trying to do that, trying to run a business. Just chaos, mate, chaos. Had to grow up really fast, do you know what I mean? Mate. I had to grow up really, really fast. Yeah. But it's just part of your parcel, that's just what happens, isn't it? That's the cards have been dealt, you just need to go in it.
Good on you for having a positive attitude and actually taking it on as well. Was there ever any doubt that you wouldn't take the business on, or were you just going?
I'll be honest with you, mate, I was winging it. I didn't even, maybe just being thick, I didn't even really look at the bigger picture, do you know what I mean? I'm just like, just need to get wages, just keep these people happy, keep the customers coming in, keep the guys happy so they don't go elsewhere, do you know what I mean? But I managed to keep a lot of these guys in work for a good 5 or 6 years, do you know what I mean? And then obviously they were getting older, some retired, one sadly passed away, and now I've got new staff, do you know what I mean? And as I was saying to you, I started to learn the difference. I was getting massive tax bills and all that because I was a sole trader, and I'm like, what's going on here? I started speaking to other people, and then became a limited company, which really opened my eyes, do you know what I mean? And I've managed to grow my business slightly. I went from I've got about 3 staff just now, and I've got a couple of subbies that I can pull in when I need them, do you know what I mean? And I was always kind of terrified of being VAT registered. I was always like, it's going to scare all my customers away, it's going to scare all my customers away. But last 2 years I've been VAT registered and seem to be doing all right.
No scared them away.
There's a few, sometimes
sometimes that gives you a different level of customer, and sometimes it can actually be a better customer. It's somebody who believes in using a company rather than just using a sole trader or a one-man band, and everybody's got their place in the market. So like I went through a similar journey. It was like 2017 that we went limited with Taylor Roofs. I'd just been sole trader up to that point as well for like 2013 to 2017. So done them few years, and when we did that exact same journey you're talking about, I thought, if I go VAT registered here, like, we're going to price ourselves out the market. And to be honest, you know, we did quite a big number that year. It was like 600k or something in our first year. And then you know, and then after that year it was like 1 million, and then it's kept growing since. And you realise that VAT registration conversation, it just doesn't even come up anymore. It's actually more our belief than somebody else's. And when you present yourself as someone who just thinks, well, it's just normal, then it doesn't really get questioned. But you know, I sometimes think, like, in those early days, you're giving the price in, you're kind of like, that plus VAT, like, no, you're kind of scared to say 100%. I can relate to you there.
I was even terrified when I started to learn, when I wasn't just working for wages. I was terrified to even add profit to my jobs. Do you know what I mean? And you've got the VAT on top of that as well. I was like,
there's a guilt in the industry around profit, and sometimes customers don't think you should be making it either, and then sometimes you just feel guilty. It's like, right, that's the price of the job. Like, of course you need a profit, but there is a real belief, and like you were saying, when I'm mentoring trades business owners, that's what I'm trying to instill in them. Like, there's no point in doing this if you're not getting a profit. You don't want to just own a job. You need to make money at this, because if you want to grow something, like grow a sizable company, you want to employ people, you want new vans, you want to invest in new equipment, you want to get a new premises, then you can't do that without profit. It's got to come from somewhere, but it seems it's a bit hard in the early days with that, but once you get that bit right, then it should make the growth sustainable.
100%. One of the things that kind of opened my eyes when I was younger, like, maybe you were making, I don't know, £700-800 a week or something like that, right? And then they're like, oh, the van needs new tyres. And they're like, that's £400, and you've no got that wee nest egg. Do you know what I mean? You're running wage to wage. Do you know what I mean? Cowboy style. And then you're like, half my wage is gone, but that was from my house bills. What you make today, and you're like, you need to restructure this. You need to, and I dare say there'll be a lot of guys or women businesses out there that aren't making a profit and are just wage to wage. Do you know what I mean? And when we go back to the VAT, because the majority of my competitors are guys who are in the industry round about my area, they're on a one-man band, right? So if they're just looking for, they're maybe older and they've got their houses paid off and that stuff, they're just looking for wages. So if I'm competing against them and I'm trying to make a bit of profit to keep the business afloat and get new staff in, new equipment and all that sort of stuff, plus I've got the VAT, I don't really stand a leg to stand on with them. Do you know what I mean? They're going to get the job. But the thing that I've got in my favour is, if it's going to take a guy 3 weeks to do a full house, I can do it in a week. Or depending on the standards and all that sort of stuff, do you know what I mean? But I can cut the time in half, and people don't really want you floating about their house for 3-4 weeks, do you know what I mean? They want you, no in and out, do you know what I mean? You've got to do a good job, but I've got that to my benefit, and I think that helps me.
I think I seen something that goes about quite often, that was like this wee pyramid, and it was like cheap, quality and fast, and it's like you can only have 2 of them. So it's like, if it's going to be cheap and quality, it's going to take forever. Like, that guy's got to take 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks to paint your house. And by the way, if he wants to go for a week on holiday in between that, and that's what he's doing, then that's what he'll do, because he believes that he's quality enough to do the job and he can do it in his own leisure. But then equally on the other side, if you're like, I'm guessing this is you, but if you were competing with that person, you'd be saying, look, we're going to do a quality job and we'll do it quickly. So it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap. You're paying a wee bit of a premium for the service. The same way as it's probably like, do you know, when you're wanting to get something fast off Amazon, like, if you want it quickly, you maybe pay a wee bit more to get it like here tomorrow, but it's like you've paid that bit extra because you know you need it fast. So everybody's got their place in the market, and it just depends where people are. Some customers are like, oh, wouldn't they mind having a painter in my house for a few weeks, and it might give me a bit of company, you know, they might be lonely or whatever, and they might like bringing trades into the house. Most people don't know.
They get fed up.
They want you out of there.
They get fed up. You get to a stage and it's a cup of tea in the morning or that sort of stuff, and then it's just like one day the switch just turns, do you know what I mean?
Like,
It's just
when you're going to be
I'm
finished,
fed up with you, do you know what I mean? What do you mean you're not working Saturday? I want this done, do you know what I mean? So it totally twists.
No, it makes a lot of sense. How did you start to learn business then? Like you're saying, how long ago was that? Sorry. So
when I kind of turned, so I took the business on when I was about 20.
Yeah.
I've always kept the business going. I actually done a few stints offshore because I was like to myself, I'm fed up with this, do you know what I mean? I've done a few stints offshore, but I kept the guys working. I always planned to work when I went and done my trips offshore. When I come back, and then I was about 25, I was kind of fed up. I said, I'm all in. I need to learn how to fix this. And I just started to brand myself a bit. I was always big on branding. My dad was always big on branding. He always had wee one-liners on his vans and all that sort of Del Boy sort of style, do you know what I mean? And I said, right, I'm all in. Better van, branding, hundreds of leaflets made. I've always had a website, always right through, I've always had a website. I said, website, all this sort of stuff, and then I just kept building it.
where were you learning it though? Like where did you go?
To be honest,
did you have a mentor, or did you find something online, or did you just...
Online, a lot of stuff did come through online, but the majority of stuff was, I did know another guy who owned quite a big roofing company, and my dad used to do work for him, and I didn't find this out till about a couple of years ago, that my dad actually said to him when he was no wheel, he says, going to look after Edward. So this guy always fired me work, always. He's one of my best customers, always fired me work, because if they were doing insurance jobs and all that, I would go in and do the ceilings and all that, do you know what I mean? So he was always good to me, and I used to ask him questions. I used to say, when I see him, I was just like, what about this, what about that? How can you be off the tools and they're all working and all that? How can you do that? Do you know what I mean? And he used to just...
It just shows you. Everybody learns from somebody.
100%, aye.
Like there's like usually 9 times out of 10, no matter who it is, like most of us as just humans, like we're copying somebody else. We're kind of going, oh, that person is where I would like to be. How can I do that? Or do you know, they've got this type of physique, so like what is it they're doing at the gym? I might want to get that same routine, or they've done good with that diet, I want to copy that diet, or they've grew that business. So it's interesting that's how I was just quite keen to see like who you'd kind of maybe latched onto a wee bit to learn off it. There's always like Charlie Mullins, who's been one of our guests on the podcast, he always spoke about a guy, Bill, who he just seen was like the local guy who had like the nice cars, you know, always had a nice girlfriend or whatever, had like went to nice holidays, and he was like, he's a plumber, I want to be a plumber. Do you know, and that he just lined the two up, and that's what he said. Everybody learns off of somebody, so that's
you need a wee goal to go towards as well. You end up getting stuck in a wee rut, do you know what I mean? That's what happens.
Hi guys, sorry to interrupt the episode, but I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Scope Branding for being our new podcast sponsor. As you're aware, if you've been listening and following the podcast, I'm really big on my branding and having branded workwear. We've teamed up with these guys. They've done all our work at Taylor Roofs, Taylor Solar, and now the Taylor Talks brand here that you can see. They're good quality, good prices, and really good service. Go and connect with Scope Branding on their social media channels, check out their website, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. So what was the kind of progression steps for there then?
Pretty much, when I got the branding and I started to structure my business a wee bit better, as I said, I went limited, and then I had another accountant, and they were kind of, I felt like my old accountant was kind of holding me back, as if don't kind of grow the business. No, it's a big business to that, but it's a better business than what it was. Yeah. And then I spoke to another a plumber guy I know, and he said, look, try my accountant. I went up, I said, look, I'm getting hit all these big tax bills. We restructured the business, got everything in order, and that just helped me to grow. It gave me a wee bit of breathing space, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then with the VAT, first time I remember I put my first quote in with the VAT and tap it, and I was like, I'm never getting this. And he went, that's fine, Edward. And I went, that's fine, do you know what I mean? And then obviously the VAT went to every 3 months and all that stuff as well. I'm like, right, I need to make sure I'm systemising this when I'm getting paid for the jobs, I'm paying this and I'm putting the money away, and just thinking like a businessman slightly, do you know what I mean, compared to just a daft painter, as they get called, do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's good. And do you do everything yourself then still? Is it, or you brought anybody in to help? I've got a VA who helps me with my quotes and things like that. I use a bit of software and all that sort of stuff. Pricing wise, I'm usually quite on the ball with pricing wise. I've started now because I've actually heard on your previous podcasts about how many hours is wasted, got to price jobs, and you know they're not going to get them done. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So now I know that you vet your customers, but you're just asking these questions that you know, are you just going to price
qualify them basically?
Qualify, that's the word, mate, that's the word, aye. So I'm using the technique. Sometimes I slip up and I go like, oh, I forgot to ask you questions, I've already booked it in, and I'm not the type to let a customer down, do you know what I mean? I've really, if they do it, and I've spoken about this on social media and that, it's always my dad had a wee saying, right, and people might not agree with it, but customers pay wages, right? Yeah. And if you don't have, they're your boss, do you know what I mean? If you don't have customers,
100%.
then...
The way I see it is, the customer looks after the business. So you've got the business owner. Business owner needs to look after the employees, the staff, the team. The more you can look after them, the more they'll then be inclined to look after the customer, and then the customer is looking after the business, who is in turn looking after them. Yeah. So like you said, although the customer doesn't go and give the wages to your staff and go, there's your wages this week, if they don't give them to you, then you've got a problem trying to give them to them. And that's a good saying, actually.
I actually heard a new one as well. It was quite good. I hope I get this right. It's when a customer starts to cause more stress than profit, it's time to let them go. Right. And I've actually just I had a customer, it was getting to the stage that I was going to do the jobs for next to nothing, do you know what I mean? And it was really nicky pitty, didn't want anybody else on the job apart from myself. Yeah. And I'm starting to think to myself, is that what I need to do here? Do I need to let this customer go? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there is, somebody explained it to me one time about, I think it was A, B, C, D customers. Mm-hmm. And it was like your awesome customers, your bread and butter, your could be betters, and almost like your duds, right? And so like the awesomes are like the ones who like just totally get everything you're about. They like your company, they like your brand, and like the way you do business. See, like all your systems and processes that you've got set up, they just fit into that, and it's perfect. They didn't like try and get you down on price. They didn't try and mess you about with dates. They're just like, look, you take care of me, I'll pay you whatever you want. Love it. You know, that's the sort of awesome ones. They're really good, profitable jobs. They're always happy by the end of it. Nothing really comes up between them and your team. It's all smooth. Then the sort of bread and butters is almost like there might be a bit less than that, but it's sort of like you're just your routine ones. Like it always goes sort of all right. They might have a wee moan here or there about something or other, or it might not be the best work that your actual like your staff might love doing. But so it's like, they prefer the more A customer who's like, oh, this is a really good quality job, I like doing these jobs. But this B customer, it might just be a wee bit more about the guys didn't really like doing it, but however, the customer's always happy, the guys get on with it, it's fine. And it's like you probably have quite a lot of them. And then you've got like the ones that are like the could be betters. So essentially with the could be betters, it's similar again to that, but it's just sort of, they didn't give you any real hassle, but they're just like, they're not delighted either. You've probably done a really good job and they just didn't even leave you a review or that, and you're like, you ask them for, you leave us a wee 5-star review or give a good review for the service, and they're maybe going, they're just like, I'm not really bothered. Like, it's just, you're just like, they just could be a wee bit better, but there's nothing massively wrong with it. Then you've got the duds, which essentially it's like people who's like phoning up, wants everything for free, wants your advice for free, your time for free, taking up like every minute of your day almost, and like they might be wanting like one door painted, for example, and it's like they've phoned you, they've texted you, they've emailed you, they've hassled, like, and I didn't mean, I mean it in the nicest possible way, because obviously like I've built my whole livelihood off of great customers and I love my customers, so like I'm not trying to put anybody down here, but there's just a certain type of people who just think like you should be at their beck and call, and really like customer service and business, it is a two-way street. It should be merged, and that's when you've got them awesome customers. It does work like that. But with these D's, it's like you're no serving them properly because they're not actually happy, and they're not serving you because you're actually not making any money, you're stressed, and then what happens is you're serving this person, which means you're taking less time on getting more of them awesome ones up the top, or the bread and butters, or the could be betters. So now what's happening is you're spending so much time with these that you might be losing some of these good customers. So when you get rid of them, like what you're saying, you might get rid of that one, you'll have more time to go and get more of the ones that you want. And I think that is a valid point. If they're causing more stress than profit, then get rid of them.
It's time to let them go, time to let them go.
And sometimes it's us as well though. Like sometimes you've priced the job too cheap one time in the past just to get it, and then now they expect that all the time. So like sometimes there's just a really good like mature conversation to say, you've been working back and forward with us for a good few years here. This has always been our rates, but now this is our new rates. So if you want to use us going forward, we're delighted to help you, but this is how much it's going to cost you. And also, I know you've not got an office yet, but for example, like I went through that transition when I started hiring office staff. I would be saying, look, you can't use my personal mobile number anymore, or I'll forget about you, so please phone the office number. They'll get you booked in today, and a roof surveyor will be out with you tomorrow. It's better than trying to get me on my phone and then I forget about it, get back to you in a week or something, and it's too late, you know. So it's all these wee things that you pick up, and it's not being nasty to anyone, and it's no sort of alienating customers and saying we didn't take them dud ones. It's just, you know, that'll maybe be for somebody else. You know, they probably do need like a one-man band. That's where you were in the past. That you just sort of you didn't really know if you were making profit or no. You just went to every job, did what you had to do, try and get the wages. Does that make sense?
100%, aye, 100%.
And then, so what's where's things at sort of now then? Did we miss anything in between there? You've kind of...
No, we've got a great wee team now. We're doing fantastic. We're plenty of work coming in. We try our very best to keep all the customers happy the best we possibly can. Obviously there's only so many hours in a day as well, do you know what I mean? But we try and separate ourselves from the crowd by doing the best job we could possibly do within the budgets.
What about your communication? Is your communication good with
I've always been really good with communication, mate. To the point that I've probably stressed myself out too much, try to keep people happy. That's how I've got all the grades, do you know what I mean? But
I thought that was a wee bit of painful for all.
No. It's that's customer service has always been my goal, do you know what I mean? It's always been my goal, because I think it probably goes back to customers pay wages. If you keep customers happy, you'll always be in work, do you know what I mean? And it's try to pull you want to keep the good habits, but you have to look at the bigger picture of your business as well.
No, definitely. And what about your new venture then? Where's that came from?
Well, that's up in a kind of tradies for solving a problem on both ends.
Yes.
So if you start with the customers, a lot of customers I've spoke to in the past, I've always got bad words to say about some traders and things like that. They've always been let down, guys not getting back to them, communications, all that sort of stuff. Got to price jobs, never sending a quote or not turning up to appointments. And when I was in doing work, customers were always asking, can you recommend this trade, can you recommend this? And I always knew good, decent guys, so I always done it. But I got to the point, I'm like, there must be, I know there's other sites and all that where you can get traders and all that sort of stuff. So I said to myself, I'm going to do a wee bit of research on this, right? People getting let down, bad jobs and all that sort of stuff. So this was back in maybe 2022, and I was doing a wee bit of research, and then I had a look and I went, I seen an article and it says something like 6.5 million customers were left with rogue trades in 1 year alone. Obviously that was a big boom when everybody was working and all that after COVID. Yeah. And I said, that's ridiculous. I said, there must be a way to fix that in the UK, do you know what I mean? So I went down the route of looking at that, what can be done. That was, and I came up with an idea. Obviously there's other businesses, but a way you can vet and just get only the best trades in one place. So that was ticking off one box, finding customers, decent traders, right? On the other hand, when it came to the traders being on a platform, like other brands that are out there, they always have to pay through the nose to get sponsored listings. As soon as they sign that dotted line after the 12 months, nobody's interested in them, do you know what I mean? They don't know how many, I don't really like using the word lead generation, right? I like to use customer generation. They don't know how many customers they're going to get and all this sort of stuff. And you're paying through the nose, and all you're really getting is a wee page on a website, do you know what I mean? You're not getting a couple of stickers for your van, you're not getting anything else. So I thought to myself, there must be a way where we can combine customers finding decent trades, tradesmen getting more for their listing on the directory. I don't like the other sites that you have to pay for leads. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I've never liked day one, so there's could be four E's paying for the one lead, and by the time the 4 E's even go and see the job, the customer's got somebody in there. So I don't agree with that. I think it's daylight robbery, to be honest.
Who do you think there is a problem in it, right? So who do you think gets the worst deal out of it? So you've got, say a lead comes up on one of these websites, and then 4 people pay for the lead. So these four companies can all go out and quote. Now they've meant to have been vetted and be like all like, you know, got their insurances, got good reviews on there, whatever it is. So in the customer's eyes, there's 4 there. They should, in their mind, they're probably thinking, right, they're all vetted, so I should just choose the cheapest one. Because why would you know if the 4 of them are all vetted anyway? But then what I've found is can be the issue is that sometimes the quality of the trades that's getting onto these shouldn't maybe be on there. So like actually they're the cheapest, they're getting chosen, then they're still doing the rogue thing, and then there doesn't seem to be like a a complaints process that gets followed through where like that person maybe gets thrown off the site or whatever. You just sometimes see they've got one bad review, but they still got lots of other good ones, and there's a chance that they can go on and sort of continue to trade on there, I think. So
what happens on there, what you were talking about, see, even if they guys or ladies, whatever companies, the job will get posted by the customer, and up to 4 businesses can then buy the lead, right? But they don't find out if that job's already away, so they don't even get a chance to price the job, and they still need to pay for the lead. What actually I think is daylight robbery. So you're paying for something that you've seen that hang there, and you can't even get your money back. Do you know what I mean? So there's hundreds of lead generation sites like that for trades, which I don't think is fair. And that's with Tradie, we're bringing out, you'll get a listing on the platform, but not only just you get a listing on the platform, we're going to bring you job management tools as well, which you can use within Tradie, but you can use outside of Tradie as well. So I'm bringing an app, there'll be a website, dashboard website, and there'll be an app where you can virtually run your business through. So that will allow you to then take appointments through the app. It will then allow you to send digital quotes and invoices, and you'll be able to send, you can schedule all your works through your phone. So it's virtually a business in a box. So with Tradie, you're going to get customers coming in for here, looking at your profile, seeing you, and then you can then connect directly to the customer through the app as well.
And so the thought process behind the job management tools is that in order to keep the tradesmen as such, like communicating and well organised, so that when these customers get in touch, then that person's going to have the tools at their disposal to be like, I'll book you and I'll get back to you then, I'll put a quote together and whatnot, and it helps take them up a wee level.
When I was working on Tradie, we started for the customer journey. So the customer's going to be looking for a trade, going to a profile. Our algorithm that's going to work will be different for other sites. So other sites, you have to pay for sponsored listings and that. It's not going to work like that. One of the features that we're going to have is going to be, you can set your availability. So for instance, if you're starting to dry up with work, you can then go like, I'm available to quote within a certain time. The customer can then come in and book the quote directly on it for a quote visit. And then once you go and see the job, you can communicate with the customer back and forth on the platform, so it's not getting lost and all that sort of stuff. On the platform, you can then, once you go and see the job, you can then send a quote directly through that, so that's going straight to your customer. So you don't need to worry about email addresses, you don't need to worry about entering at all, posting or anything like that, because it's all in the system. If the customer then can accept the quote from their side, and then you can then book and schedule a time and when you're ready to go and do the job. So that will then sync to theirs, and it will sync to both your calendars on your phones or whatever software you use. Once the job's done, if there's any changes in the quote, it's like live time. So if I'm halfway through doing your living room, you say, by the way, I want to do this, by the way, it's extra money, I can update the quote, send it to you, you see it, you proof it, accept it, and then once the job is complete, I can send you an invoice directly to your phone. At the moment, we will not have a payment processor within Tradie, but that's phase 3, when you will be able to pay for Google Pay and Apple Pay and all that sort of stuff through your phone. But this version will literally be, it will come through like maybe as a PDF, and it'll just be like a standard invoicing software, and you'll be able to get a review directly through it. So you don't need to chase a review, so it will automatically sync to the customer that you've done the job with. But with these tools as well, so with Tradie, you're getting job management software, you're getting a listing on a trade directory. But not just that, the job management tools aren't just to be used purely for your Tradie customers. They can be used out with. So if you've got a regular customer, you can go like, well, I might send you a quote. You can do it and it will just work through email instead of through the platform. Do you know what I mean? So you're getting a lot of tools in one place. Instead of having to have, right, I need to pay for that membership, I need to pay for that software, I need to do that, and all this different stuff. It's pretty much like a bit of a business in a box.
What would like perfect look like? So if like in 5 years' time you came back on the podcast and you said, Jamie, it worked and this is like, it's gone absolutely amazing, what does that look like?
I would actually, my goal is for customers to be able to find decent trades and get all their home repairs, get all their improvements, everything all done through Tradie. So they don't have to go and Google or all different sites or who can recommend me this on social media and all that stuff, because you don't know who you're getting on these sites, do you know what I mean? You're getting verified, proper tradespeople who are going to come and do the job. Tradespeople are happy because they've got all the tools that they need to run their trades business in one place. So it's just literally a bit like if you go into Airbnb and you're looking for something, everything's there, do you know what I mean? And for the hosts on Airbnb, they've got all the tools they need as well to deal with the customers. So just a platform with everything in one place. Only the best qualified tradespeople on it really care about their reputation, really care about gain the customer satisfaction. Do you know what I mean?
And how will that be vetted then?
Vetted, we've got, it's like a tier, not a tier system, but we've got pretty much a list of something like 6 different stages that they have to go through. As an idea, obviously standard one's public liability. Yeah. If you're in the gas or you're in the electricity, you need to make sure you've got all the insurances and you've got all the certificates that you need for them. We'll do a check on them, so we'll ask for references or customers, and we'll do the checks on the customers. Not only that, we'll actually do a wee bit of digging ourselves in the background, so we'll go through their social medias, we'll go through all their stuff and see if they've got the right fit for tradie. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I'm hoping that tradespeople will actually go, this is a good idea, so you're not competing with rogues. Do you know what I mean? So if once tradie is fully developed and the app is ready and the dashboards and all are working, and traders are seeing maybe going away for the paper diary and starting to use digital tools, because we all know digital is coming to the future, do you know what I mean? That they'll turn around and they'll say, this is handy, this is brilliant. And one of my key points, and I've probably been criticised on this, is I'm going to try and keep this as cheap as very, very possible for the trades, because I've been in their predicament. I'm still in their predicament, do you know what I mean? I don't want to be paying tied to a year contract for all these big companies that I can't get any money for, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm hoping that it works well, and we're doing a wee special offer as well. So the first 300 trades that sign up to it for Ayrshire and Glasgow will get a free listing on the site and free trial of the job management tools as well. And
how do they get in touch with you to sort of, if they want involved?
They can contact me directly through LinkedIn, or they can go into tradie.com. So if you go into that, you'll be able to claim your free listing.
Sounds good, mate. Sounds good. And what about the customers? How are you going to get them onboarded with it?
Well, at the moment, we've actually launched a holding website now, and we're getting loads and loads of traffic going onto it. The trades that are on it, we've got about 80 trades on it now, and they're getting work for it. Do you know what I mean? They're getting work. We've also done a leaflet drop, 50,000 leaflets across North Ayrshire, with something like 30 trades on it, and they're all getting work because I'm in contact with them all the time. We also do a wee weekly competition, so it's Trade of the Week. Yeah, I've seen that one. Trade of the Week. So if there's people who are doing really jobs, they file them out to me, and we go, oh, that's a brilliant job, man. Do you know what I mean? There, and they want a wee gift. So if they's engaged and if they's happy with it, because people are, as I was speaking about earlier, they don't want to compete against rogues or people who don't really care as much. Do you know
that makes sense. And then for you, then what's the next steps for you? Will you try and go full-time tradie, and the decorating side you'll come away for that, or what will be the plan?
At the moment, obviously, tradie's still in the very early launch stage. Do you know what I mean? So I'm still full time on the tools as well as tradie and everything else that goes with it. But in the long term, I would like to maybe try and be the face of tradie, because a lot of these other, I know I keep going back to these other big brands, but they're all faceless. So I would like to be a face to front of tradie and say, look, I'm a trader. I've also have to deal with the customer side of it as well for one trades myself. So I feel everybody's paying, and I'm just trying to give you a platform which is perfect.
Good. Well, thanks for coming on and sharing your story and telling us all about tradie as well, mate, and I'll wish you all the best with that.
No problem,
Good man.
Thanks very much. Cheers.